A squat boy from the Buenos Aires slums produced moments of beauty to be admired and re-admired all over the world. My dream is to play in a World Cup. His first The Hand of God goal taps into an old South American belief that the British have the power, but the South Americans have the street cunning to run rings round them. It was the day when Maradona became a god, and almost certainly a day which hastened his collapse as a human being. Not surprisingly, the pressure of being a god proved too great. He became addicted to drugs and later food, and needed a stomach bypass operation in 2004, which made him lose 6 stones. We are now in the year 46 AD, after Diego, according to a group of eccentrics in the Argentine city of Rosario, 300 kilometers north of Buenos Aires. Every 30th of October, Maradona's birthday, they celebrate their Christmas. A congregation that can reach up to 400 gather at the Hand of God Chapel every Sunday to pay due respect to Argentina's favorite and controversial son. Everything started 8 years ago with a telephone call from one of the founders, Hernán Ames, to his best friend, the church's co-founder, Alejandro Verón.
Digo, déjame dormir que tengo que trabajar. Feliz Navidad. Y ahí automáticamente me di cuenta que era...
He said, "Merry Christmas." Don't ask me why, but and I realized straight away it was because it was Diego's birthday. The following day we met for dinner and decided to create the church. Initially there were not many of us, but we were shocked at how quickly the word was spread and how many people wanted to join us. We've been visited by countless journalists from around the world and everybody loved the idea. There is even a list of 10 commandments, including the demand to give their sons the name Diego. Of course there's humor in this, but it is also true that the feeling of adoration goes very deep, possibly too deep for some. And they've come across some amazing stories from special guests who have spoken of their experiences with their God. One, for example, is a man that approached Maradona after a training session to explain that his son needed urgent surgery to save his life.
Le entregó al padre de este chico.
On the spot, he ordered his agent to write a check to the desperate father for the amount he needed without asking for any proof. The man couldn't believe it. He took the check and went. He later sent a message to Diego saying that this kid survived. He just smiled without saying a word. Everybody around him understood the message. The good gesture was done, and in that case, a life was saved. That was just one example of many of Diego's amazing generosity that we come across. The Diegorian brothers are rich in religious lore. Maradona's autobiography is their Bible. Those who have helped him in his career have been named apostles. Those who have hindered him have been branded heretics.
Después están los que lo hacen, los otros miembros de la iglesia que desde su...
We all try to help in any way we can. We have a guy who's a carpenter and built a little altar for our mass. Then another member made our Christmas tree. I'm a composer, so I wrote different songs for the church. Basically, we all add our grain of sand towards the main aim of our religion, which is the worship of the way Diego played the game and also the great number 10 in general. During the Mass, there is also a football skills and tricks practice, and the contribution of some colourful church members of Maradona's belief in looking after the ball. I can juggle the ball during the whole Mass as well as during the communion, which has margarita pizza and for as long as it's required. I can keep the ball in the air for more than 11 hours, which is probably a world record. After the communion, with margarita pizza, Diego's favorite meal, there's always time to remember some classic rivalries with places where the church might not have that many members. Brazilians, why do you look so sad? Is it because you realize that Diego is the greatest ever, even greater than Pelé? Brazilians, why do you look so sad? Is it because you realize that Diego is the greatest ever, even greater than Pelé? As you can see, whoever is not jumping is an Englishman. As you can see, whoever is not jumping is an Englishman.
Que la Tartan Army se acercara hacia nosotros. Son
The
hinchas
Tartan
escoceses.
Army from Scotland, the set of supporters that follow their national team around the world, got in touch with us recently asking for 1,500 membership applications. They have all been accepted and made members of the Maradona Church. They keep in touch through our website, and they've invited us to travel to Scotland in the near future and hold a mass in Glasgow. We're delighted about that, and we'll be going there soon. We just get on so well with them, just as with the Irishmen. We found we have so many things in common with these two nations. We probably don't need to say why,
Muy
do we?
afín y nos gusta y tenemos buena relación. Enseguida tuvimos buen feeling y buen diálogo.
To become a full member, you need to go through the Hand of God baptism and recreate it. The church has been growing in numbers to reach more than 15,000 from 24 different countries, with people joining from as far as Vietnam, Canada and Nigeria.
Perpetuarlo a Diego.
We will continue to pass the message of Diego's greatness on to the next generation, and my son will follow in my footsteps, that's for sure. Priests and apostles also gather to watch football. A favourite is Diego's second goal against England in '86, when he literally ran rings around the English defence.
Dios está omnipresente. En este momento está con nosotros.
God is with us all the time. He's on TV, in the photos, and in our hearts and minds. And we have an advantage above all other religions, as our God is alive and only a phone call away. He may even join us for a beer at some point. What other God can do that? Maradona declared himself touched by the celebrations at the Hand of God Chapel in Rosario, but in his long battle against his health problems, there must have been times when he wished that the Hand of God had touched someone else. But for many around the world that have joined the Maradona Church, that doesn't seem to matter.